There's another possibility, Jen says. The death rune is old, right? I explained all this on the journey between our homes. Yeah, it's from the Norse. Like Thor? Danny says, perking up a little. The Rainbow Bridge and Lightning Hammer and all that? Love those movies. But not... You know what? Yes, like the movies. Danny nods with enthusiasm, on board with Team Scared Shitless once more. Wicked awesome. He strikes me as a good guy at heart, but his emotions are fluid, shifting back and forth like a weeping willow in the breeze. So, like 1,000 years ago, Jen says. And if you're right about the Norse, that their mythology is based on this kind of thing happening before, then maybe it's happened in other locations too. What if the medieval depiction of the devil wasn't conjured from someone's imagination? What if it was real? I nod. Makes sense. At least to me, having seen it with my own eyes. A detail snaps to the forefront of my thoughts. I hadn't paid much attention to it because, the devil. But what had been lost in my periphery is starting to come into focus. The devil was carrying something, over its shoulder, dragging something behind it. It was a sack. A living, pulsating sack the size of a Prius, covered in purple and white veins, like a placenta. And it was full. My mind's eye focuses on the memory of its surface, bending and undulating as something inside was fighting to get out. I see hands stretching against the fleshy wall, limbs, faces. There were people inside, living people. The memory of it staggers me. They're collecting people, taking them. But where? Behind Larry's house, into the preserve, but probably not past the river. Are you okay? Jen asks. They're not killing them, I say. Not everyone. The devil, it was carrying people. And we've seen the demons take people into the woods. Where? Jen asks. Behind Larry's house, Allie says. To the preserve. I nod. Are my parents still alive? Bree asks. I kneel in front of her. It's possible, but, babe, you know I can't promise that, right? Do you promise to get them back? She asks, blinking wet anime eyes impossible to deny. I look at the others, judging the strength of their convictions, their bravery, their fortitude. I can promise we'll try. Jen nods, then Allie and Emma. When I look at Danny, he takes a step back, raises his hands like I've got a gun pointed at his junk. Hey, don't look at me. I'm not going up against the frickin' devil guy. My cousin Frankie, from Revere, he got into a fight once. Dude was twice his size. Cracked his skull into a bubbler. Can't walk a straight line now. Cops always think he's drunk, like he spends half his life at the Packy or some shit. Point is, no frickin' way. But you already fought one, Jen says. Danny huffs. Catching a dipshit demon off guard and going Ted Williams on its skull ain't the same as going to Pound Town with the devil. Allie raises her hand. I don't think you know what Pound Town means. Whatever, Danny says. Whole neighborhood is empty now, yeah? I'll take my chances in another house. You all can wage your little war without me. Coward, Emma grumbles, putting off some of that serious little sister resting bitch face vibe that used to be reserved for me. Better a coward and alive than a freaking moron who doesn't know when to not pick a fight, and dead. He backs away toward the door, picks up his bat on the way. When he puts his hand on the doorknob, I say, I wouldn't go out there. You can stay in one of our rooms, Allie adds. You don't need to be a part of what we're doing. You want to bring hell down on yourselves, I'm not going to sit in your My Little Pony bedroom waiting to get asked for... His eyes flick to Bree. I ain't going to be here for it. He unlocks the deadbolt. Is definitely leaving. I turn to Jen. Get away from the door. To Allie, I say, both of you. They get it. The death rune on Allie's head is fake, and Jen still doesn't have one. They shuffle Bree into the dark dining room, out of sight from anything that might be lurking outside. Jen waves for Emma to follow, but the girl shakes her head, stands by my side, and readies her M4. I give her a nod of recognition, fortifying our solidarity, at least in this moment, and she gives it right back. You guys are Andy Warhol bananas, you know that, right? I give him a smile. You weren't even here when I was wearing a skirt. He doesn't know what to make of that, so he turns the doorknob, opens the door, and backsteps onto the porch. 10 houses down on the right, Emma says. Danny pauses. What about it? Don't go there, she says. We locked one in the basement. His face screws up. You locked one in the A shadow falls over Danny and then wraps around him like a red-tinged specter. I'm seeing it, and even I'm not sure what I'm seeing, in part because it's out of focus or concealed, but also because it happened so fast. 1 second he's standing there, the living embodiment of a middle-aged Bostonian, and the next, crunch. The sound his compressing ribs make is like breaking a handful of spaghetti, but louder and coupled, for a moment, with a sickening scream that's suddenly silenced.